Good morning. So today is Sunday, and I am planning to do an all-day writing day. More like an all-day revision day. I want to get through most of my moon painting story today, and I know that there are some chapters I haven't even written into it, so I know those are going to slow me down, but I'd like to at least get to those today. I want to do a huge amount of revision, so I'm starting first thing. I'm going to work for a little while I eat my breakfast, and then I gotta get some turnips, so I'm gonna have to play Animal Crossing in a little while. But I'm gonna do some writing first, and then just kind of work on it throughout the day. If I kind of get stuck, I'm also giving myself some permission to work on a little bit of poetry, but mainly I really want to get through as many chapters of this as possible. So today's gonna be a writing vlog. I started off with a couple of writing sprints, so I'm actually kind of on a roll, and then I sort of sidetracked having to look up the theme from Swan Lake because I realized I have the Moonlight Sonata as a song that kind of reoccurs within the story, but because I'm sort of using a similar theme to Swan Lake, I really need to put the music in there. Let's get a little Tchaikovsky in here. So I had to look it up so I could hear the melody while I was typing about it. I just used the Swans theme as the song that I wanted them to be talking about and playing. But I think it's gonna be so much more fun to actually reference it, because Moonlight is how he gets out of the painting. It's pretty obvious that I was inspired by Swan Lake for that. Yeah, so it's gonna be in there now. I really haven't gotten through that many pages, but I think as the coffee kicks in and I start going a little bit faster, I'm gonna write a little bit faster. So far so good. I think adding in the extra songs is gonna make this a lot more fun, especially since the love interest is a musician, so there should have been more music from the start. So this is gonna be more fun, and I'll get back to writing. Good sunshine spot. Yeah. Nice and warm. Okay, I managed to finish that chapter, and I managed to get my turnips. I had to go to a friend's island because they had a lot better prices than I did. So I got my turnips. I'm set. Just gotta watch for the good price this week. I also recently Pecan moved to my island. I'm really excited because she's so cute. So now my keepers that I won't let go are Pecan. Well, at least right now I really like Pecan. And Henry is my favorite. And Stella and Bianca. It's pretty much just those ones. Everyone else I'm kind of if you want to go, it's fine. Actually, I really recently Nana moved to my island, or Nana, because it's short for banana, because she's a monkey. I really like her so far. I don't know for sure if she's on my keeper list, but so far the ones that are just too dear to my heart are Henry, Stella, Bianca, and now I really like Pecan. Pecan I actually got from a campground. That was my first campground haul. I'd been wanting to get rid of Rowan for a while because I had Rowan and Lyman, who were both muscle heads, and I didn't like that. So I got rid of Rowan. She actually was the first person she asked about. It was either him or I really want to get rid of Claus also. I don't like Claus. My friend got rid of Claus and he moved to my island in place of someone else I didn't like, and I wish I had the other person back. I dislike Claus twice as much. He's the same personality as Henry, but it's not charming in him somehow. I don't know. Anyone want Claus? I'm trying to boot him out. I finished that chapter and it was fun because it was the first kiss chapter. I had kind of a thought about it, because initially the first kiss had been the thief had kissed the rich boy. And then I thought about it and I was like, this thief who has had no intimate human interaction in his entire life and been stuck in a painting for 400 years is probably not gonna initiate a kiss. He's just not. He's a teenager and he has never had a relationship. But this rich boy who has at least kissed somebody before in his life, and who definitely thinks that this dude coming out of the painting is an imaginary friend basically. Yeah, he's gonna kiss him first. So I switched that up, and now he kissed him first. And I also fit in a whole lot more about the Swan Princess, since that's kind of the fairy tale that this is stemming from. Yeah, I think it's a lot better now. Also, I have this writer's block coffee. And I think, has anyone else tried writer's block coffee? They're like sustainably grown, like it seems like a really good company. I think I found them, I think it was Meg Latour had like a code with them or something, so I went ahead and bought them because the first month was free, and then I ended up really liking the coffee is good. I like the taste. This is the kind of coffee that I really enjoy, kind of a like a warm, nutty kind of taste, without that sort of bitterness that comes with a darker roast. This one is it's not like a light roast, but like a light medium roast with a good strong nutty coffee flavor. I really like it a lot, but also they have tricked me, or I have tricked myself through them into thinking that I'm a lot more creative and get a lot more done when I drink their coffee. Sneaky of them. I don't think it's real. I think it's all in my head, but I always seem to get more done when I'm drinking that coffee, so I save it for writing days. So I'm having some now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to try and press through. It's almost 11. I only got one chapter done. I don't know how much I'm getting done today. I'm doing my best. I want to get through as much as possible. But I got that chapter done. And part of it is I'm doing 2-part revisions. So I'm like going through, and there's a lot of changes that need to take place. And then doing the listening back and making smaller edits. Okay, I'm going to get through another chapter hopefully before lunchtime. And then I have some lovely leftovers that I'm going to have for lunch. And then I'm going to work some more after lunch. But I do also need to fix some of my flower beds in Animal Crossing because I'm trying to make hybrids and some of them are not working, and so I need to look back through the video that kind of taught me how to do them and see what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, so we're on chapter 12 of like, oh, I have more chapters now because I split it differently. Okay, so it used to be 22 chapters. There's probably gonna be at least 24 unless I keep splitting it, and then there might be a few more. Let's say under 30 chapters, and I'm on chapter 12. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm about 3 chapters in, and I just needed some outdoor time for a little sunshine and some fresh air. It's going pretty well so far. I think the one thing I'm noticing is there are a couple themes that I touch on in this book that I feel like I'm probably going to need some sensitivity readers. Like I might need like a decent sample size of people to read over this. So I am going to be looking for beta readers. So if you're interested in, okay, so here's how I describe it. It's sort of a like Crazy Rich Asians meets Swan Princess story. It was sort of inspired by Dia and Angel, and probably would appeal, I would think would appeal to fans of Carry On. Like, now that I've read it, I think so. I think we could be on the same shelf almost. So if that's something appealing to you and you'd like to beta read for me, let me know. I'm trying to have this done by the end of the month. Don't hold me to that, but definitely reach out if you have some interest in reading this kind of story, because I do think I'm gonna need some serious feedback because I touch on a few subjects. Like, the story isn't about suicide in any way, but I do touch on the subject with 2 separate characters. Nobody's like currently, we don't go through contemplation of suicide or anything like that, but contemplation of suicide is mentioned. So trigger warning for that, and I'm not sure if that's something that maybe should just be removed or if it's something that like it feels organic to the characters and to the story, but I want some people to read it and like let me know if that seems reasonable. Also, since most of the characters in this story are gay, I definitely want somebody who is gay telling me if I'm doing this in a sensitive manner, because I happen to be straight. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking for beta readers like soon, and I want to have this all ready to go in time for Pitch Madness, which is why I'm trying to get so many chapters done today, since I really didn't work on it that much the rest of this month, even though I should have. Gotta catch up at some point. So it's really nice out right now. I think it's gonna get hot as soon as the sun like comes onto the porch. Also, because I was gone for a couple of days and didn't water all the plants out here, They were like thriving and then they got a little thirsty, so we're kind of trying to get back up to full capacity of happiness with these plants. Some of them aren't doing so hot, like the sunflower. I'll show you the sunflower. It kind of got a little droopy, I think, from being so hot. This part got weak, and so it's a little bit too heavy now, but it grew a second one. Look how cool is that? It's like a double sunflower now. Try and go this way. So it's pretty neat. It's growing another one too, but like it used to be a little more impressive, and it just got real thirsty because it just drinks so much water. But anyway, I did a plant tour recently, and until everything is like back to full happiness, I'm gonna wait to do another plant tour. Ooh, that breeze is nice. If I had enough space out here to really like spread out and write, I think I would, but it's a little cramped, so I'm gonna go back in and work on writing a little bit more. Writing snack for this afternoon is cherries, and I have some tea, and I'm gonna keep pushing through and see how much more I can get done with writing this. Okay, let's go. I was just reading the news about the protest in Seattle that was today. Recently I've been reading less news because my mental health has not been very good lately, so I didn't know the protest was happening, and it was really violent. It sounds like a lot of people were hurt and a lot of people were arrested again, and it just seems like you donate to bail funds and you sign petitions and you write to, I've written to the governor several times, and the senators, and only one senator even ever bothered to write back, and you just you expect that at some point something's gonna change, and then when the change comes it's worse. And I hope people are staying safe, and these protests are so important. It's so important that people hear you and that they listen, and we make them listen. And I'm gonna write to the governor again and the mayor of Seattle for continuing to let this happen, and I'm gonna donate what I can, and I'll find links to more petitions and paste them below, because I think people are thinking that, June has passed and now attention is turned elsewhere, but the same fight is still ongoing. Nothing has changed almost anywhere. There are very few cities where there has been any significant change. Even here in my county, they're talking about basically doing nothing. At first they were gonna do, hey, don't scratch this chair. They were gonna do a portion of defund. It was 5% less for the police force, and it was that's not really acceptable. But now they're kind of talking about not doing that either. And ballots just got here. Luckily, Washington has always had mail-in ballots. So I'm gonna vote and send in my ballot, and it sucks so much that you're constantly hearing about this. Especially, Seattle and Portland, they're pretty white cities. To be honest, actually, Seattle, I guess, is a lot more Asian than Portland is pretty white. And you hear about it happening there, and it's so violent there, and you think, what about a city like Chicago, where the majority population is not white? How many people are getting locked away? How many people are getting killed? So my first roommate in college, she had gone to study abroad while she was in high school in Japan during the Bush era, and she was literally told that you should put a Canadian flag on your bag. With the wars and with Bush, Americans were seen as so crazy and violent, you probably wouldn't get very good treatment, for a good reason. Our country was causing a lot of harm at that time, and I studied abroad in 2011, and Obama was making huge strides at repairing all the damage done internationally from the Bush era. It was sort of weird because you were hesitant to admit to being American, but obviously our accent would give it away. I was studying in England, and people would ask me, like, what did I think about things that had gone on before, and what did I think about, like, America in general. And it's like, I haven't been proud of my country in a long time. And really, Obama doing so much outreach and trying to mend so many international ties was the one thing that I really could then be proud of. And it was just like, we have such a bad reputation overseas because our country is ridiculous. Our country is a laughing stock. And we make it that way. And it's things like this. It's things like, you know, every American is, you know, there's like the fat and stupid stereotypes, but really it's the carrying guns just everywhere. Like, you can talk to a coworker about the shootings that have happened near their house, like the people shooting other people on the streets near their house, anywhere. That's just a regular occurrence. That's just a thing that happens all the time, anywhere you go. That's not true of like any other country. Pretty much anywhere in the world. Like, people talk about Americans have this like nervousness about traveling to certain other countries, and like obviously there are some countries where there are very serious wars going on, there's very serious conflicts, but people will be like, oh, I'm nervous to go to like South Africa, like, oh, there's gonna be so much, like, it'll be so dangerous or something. It's just like, it's not as dangerous as like going to New York where you're most likely going to be mugged. Like, come on. Living in America, especially if you live in any of the major cities, like living in LA was very dangerous. I never felt safe walking alone. I carried mace everywhere I went. I carried a knife half of the time. You would constantly get screamed at or stalked by sometimes homeless people, sometimes not, sometimes just crazy people. I mean, the first time I got called a fucking bitch was just walking down the street, and some guy came up and pointed in my face in the middle of a crosswalk and screamed that at me, and I just was so shocked, and the people around me just kept walking, and then he just kept walking. I have no idea who that person was. That kind of thing just happens in LA. That's America. Like, why would I be proud of this country? Like, there are things on a very small scale that are good, and like there are people who are good, but like as a country, as like a political system, us showing our face to the world, we're ridiculous in a horrible, violent, awful way. And then those things don't change. And then the only people who like win here are people who have cracked the capitalism code and make a lot of money. And those people then are like, oh, it's so great, like this is such a great place, and you know, job opportunities and good schooling, but we have terrible school systems. We have terrible healthcare. Like, what is good about America? Like, anyone have any idea? Because we can't even stop our own police forces from killing our own people, from violently attacking our own people, from making up stories. It's ridiculous how many times you'll read a news story even from journals that are purported to be more liberal, which is not true, because even though reporters tend to be more liberal, every single news outlet that comes out of America, I think except for like some of the like nonprofit, like probably NPR might not, but the CEOs, the ones at the top of the food chain in all of the major journalist networks, all of them are highly conservative. That's just a fact. So the news you're getting will always have a conservative bias because it's getting okayed by a conservative. So think about that, actually. People are like, oh, this media is so liberal, like they have a liberal bias and whatnot. Like, the person who okayed that story is conservative. And the stories that are very liberal, that have a very liberal bias, a lot of times you're not going to see them. I mean, people talk about, like, China is so censored. American media is really censored. And I've had people get mad at me for pointing that out, and they're like, you can't even compare them. Like, you don't understand how censored it is over there. Like, yeah, it's real bad over there. It doesn't mean we're better. We just censor in a different fashion. And we censor in a fashion that tells us that we're free and that everything is, you know, equal and hunky-dory. And meanwhile, you just, your rights get stripped away one by one. It is 100 days until the election right now. And I'm just gonna say, I don't think America will survive another 4 years of Trump. I think, should Trump get reelected, the country we were 4 years ago, let's say, would not recognize the country that will come out of another 4 years. And whether that means we'll be highly oppressed, more so than previously, whether that means a lot of people dying and being put in cages, something that might resemble the Nazi regime in Germany. It could be that, but it also could be just pure anarchy. It could be everyone finally having enough, and our government system could be no more. And I feel like things may not get better with Biden, but they will not get worse. I do think Biden will try to repair a lot of the damage done by Trump and try and restore things to the way they were during the Obama administration, which I think is good and right and should be done, and Trump should not have been allowed or capable of just systematically dismantling everything and just being let do that. I mean, there are so many senators and representatives who are directly at fault for that, and all of them should lose their job, and maybe they should experience some homelessness right now, you know? Kind of feeling that. No, we won't recognize the country in another 4 years of Trump. There will be a massive change in our government one way or another. Gotta hold out the hope that Biden will get elected. Other countries have fallen, to more or to less. So I'm not proud of being an American. I don't see any reason for it. And what's ridiculous is the people who are proud of being an American, they like to fly flags that are directly un-American, such as the Confederate flag, which is the opposite of patriotic, the direct opposite of patriotic since they fought against America, or the Nazi flag, also completely the opposite of patriotic. People who are like, I love America, tend to hate America and hate anyone who is not also white and conservative. If we had fewer of those people and they felt less safe just saying those things out in public, it would be a better country. Those people should not be allowed to just spew hate everywhere. And it would be a better country, and they feel safe saying it because Trump says it. Because he is trying to be a dictator. I just needed to talk about that because I hope the people are okay. And I hope people keep fighting. And I'm gonna try and write some more, or revise some more, and maybe come back to this to wrap it up a little later. I got through another chapter today. This was probably the most fun chapter to write. I probably talked about this back when I was writing the story initially, but writing about a character from like the 1600s in present time in like fake New York eating Singaporean cuisine was so much fun. I don't know, I just really loved it. So that's the scene that I edited tonight, and I'm feeling really good about it. Ooh, my camera's gonna run out of battery. Let's see how far I can get. It makes me want to eat Singaporean food. Like, my husband's family is from Singapore, and he's been, and like I've had some dishes. Some of them I've only had him making them, and so I need to try, like, I need to try proper chicken rice. He's tried to make chicken rice for me like several times, and it is so good. It's so good. But every time he's like, this doesn't quite taste right. And I'm like, if the real thing tastes different from this and better than this, like, is probably so good. I think once this pandemic is all over, we had planned at some point to take a trip to England. I still want to do that, but I think we're really going to go to Singapore. My one sorrow is that I can't eat mango, and there's a lot of good mango dishes if you head over to that side of the world where there's fresh mango, but I developed a mango allergy a couple years ago. So like, yeah, my life is ruined. But okay, I'm gonna stop there for tonight. The next scene is pretty much the scene where I'm like, I'm not sure if this could be YA with that scene. It might have to get completely taken out if I'm gonna have this be a YA novel. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna edit it and keep it in, but it's a little sexy, so possibly it can't stay. We'll see. And that's gonna take me to about halfway through this novel. So I think we're gonna have to hit the like plot soon. Anyway, that'll be 15 chapters completed after I get done with that one. So I'll work on that tomorrow for sure, although I don't know if I'm gonna have another full revision day. This was pretty good. Like, I found I could get through 4 solid chapters in one day, which is pretty good considering usually I do like 1 a day. I could probably do more if I was really like grinding, but I did take some breaks. Took some breaks to talk to my friend about some various things. That was really refreshing, and of course to kind of talk about the stuff going on in Seattle right now. And I mean, it's going on all over the world, and hopefully we're going to actually be seeing change from this, but you know, and we talked about other things too. So I'll go ahead and just leave this vlog here. Hopefully it was still interesting. Oh, don't lick my foot. Oh my gosh. Pie is sitting on my lap, but for some reason decided licking my foot was a good idea. Oh, I hate that. I don't like it when you lick my feet. Okay. Anyway, have a good night, and good luck to you. Good luck to all of us, you know, especially to you. And I will talk to you again in the next one. Bye.